The flowers had the fragrance and appearance of jasmine, but the leaves were pinnate, which based on my limited experience restricted to Jasminum samba, I did not identify with jasmines. But then I found out that not all jasmines have simple leaves. Jasmines are divided into 4 sections based on leaf morphology. Unifoliata had simple leaves, alternifoliata has alternate and compound leaves, trifoliata has opposite leaves with 3 leaflets, and pinnatifoliata has opposite and pinnate leaves. Opposite leaves are paired at nodes, whereas alternate leaves are present on alternate nodes. Compound leaves have blades with 2 or more leaflets, and pinnate leaves are where the leaf lamina is divided into multiple leaflets. Since the sample to be identified has pinnate leaves, the search was restricted to this section of jasmines, which based on green included Jasminum officinale, Jasminum grandiflorum, Jasminum stephanense, Jasminum dispermum, Jasminum kitchingii, Jasminum quinetum, and Jasminum polyanthum. The plant identification apps suggested the possible identity as either Jasminum grandiflorum, Jasminum officinale, or Jasminum polyanthum. So that will be the starting point for the search for this sample's identity. This attempt at identification will focus on the more apparent characteristics, the structure of the inflorescence, that is cluster of flowers on a branch, the structure of the flowers, including corolla and calyx, and the structure of the leaves. Jasminum polyanthum differed from the sample as its calyx lobes are more or less setose, about 1 mm long, whereas in the sample, the calyx lobes were filiform 3 to 10 mm long. In addition, Jasminum polyanthum had terminal leaflets 4 to 9 cm long, whereas in the sample, the terminal leaflets are about 1 to 5 cm long. And the inflorescence of the Jasminum polyanthum is paniculate, whereas the sample has cymose inflorescence. Paniculate inflorescence are branched and has continuous growth. Cymose inflorescence has a flower at the apex with definite growth. Jasminum officinale differed from the sample as it bears its flowers in subumbulate groups at the end of branches, with the individual pedicels more or less equal in length, and its terminal leaflets reach between 1 and 8 cm. The sample, on the other hand, bears its flowers in cymes with the middle pedicels conspicuously shorter than the lateral ones, and the terminal leaflets are only up to about 5 cm long. The third Jasminum species name brought up by the phone apps was Jasminum grandiflorum. The sample and Jasminum grandiflorum have terminal leaflets of around 1 to 5 cm long, calyx lobes filiform about 3 to 10 mm long, and the cymose inflorescence with middle pedicels conspicuously shorter than the lateral ones. So the sample is most probably Jasminum grandiflorum. The sample is also compared to other pinnate leaf jasmines to ensure that the sample was not one of them. Jasminum stephanense, the hybrid between Jasminum lycianum and Jasminum officinale, is differentiated from the sample by the subumbulate inflorescence, the pink inner surface of flowers, and lateral leaflets that are decurrent, the leaf blade partly wrapping around the petiole. The sample has cymose inflorescence, a white inner surface of flowers, and did not have decurrent leaflets. Jasminum dispermum, with its leaves much larger than that of the sample and the calyx lobes much shorter and triangular shaped, could not be the identity of the sample. The sample could also not be Jasminum quinetum. Jasminum quinetum generally possesses digitate leaves, that is, leaves arising from one point, whereas the sample has imperipinnate leaves. The corolla color of the two species also differed. Jasminum quinetum has white flowers in contrast to the pink-tinged flowers of the sample. Jasminum kitchingii differed from the sample by its purple-tinged corolla, rhomboid to ovate terminal leaflets, and 2 mm long calyx lobes, in comparison to the sample's pink-tinged corolla, lanceolate terminal leaflets, and 3 to 10 mm long calyx lobes. So I would conclude that the sample observed was Jasminum grandiflorum due to its climbing habit, cymose inflorescence with middle pedicel shorter than the lateral ones, white corolla which is reddish outside, filiform calyx lobes, and imperipinnate leaflets. The reference used to identify the jasmine species is as listed. Thank you for listening. If you want to know more about other plant species, do look up the videos on this channel.